Hello, hello, hello. I'm happy to be with you again for part 3. Today we're going to talk about a lot of different things, and this segment is basically geared to us women. Safe sex is good for everyone. Good, safe, healthy, pleasurable sex. Now, first, I want to start off with a little commentary of my thoughts and my opinions. We all have them, and there's nothing wrong with listening to each other's opinions if you choose to. Okay, now today, the devil. Now, I'm not talking about a devil that's providing over a burning hell. I'm not going there. I don't believe in that, for one thing. Is in a business suit and carries a briefcase. This evil one has incorporated all aspects of our lives. He determines what we eat, drink, where we live, what we drive in, and what we wear. And really prominent in the entertainment business. The devil has caused all classes of people to work, toil, labor to perpetrate his main objective, non-equality, and to stay rich. The devil has become the economist, the banker, the stockbroker, and those responsible for the monetary system, which has placed man in such an endless cycle of exhausting enslavement in having material gain and wealth, power, and prestige. And sometimes just that 15 minutes of fame. He have gave us welfare, which is premature death of the woman's growth, success, and chances for a happy family life. And her sexual health has been compromised. She's led to believe she needs more rights. Uncover her legs and her breasts just to be heard, understood, and to survive. Well, I'm here to shout out a new woman's movement, believing in our natural health, our sexual health, and freedom from oppression, and return to a natural state. Doesn't happen overnight, but the reality is cleansing the mind, body, and soul, and practice truth and justice and peace and equality, which we talk about, and we're going to discover ways to make it all happen. Us women must let the inner woman have some control. The woman at the core, who gets hurt the worst, who feels the blunt of emotion the longest. She sees danger coming a mile away. This inner woman in here, she sees that danger coming. She tells you, no, run away. Danger, 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 in a robot voice. So we want to practice safe sex. We want a wonderful relationship with a special person. And how do you achieve this? Well, you have to want it bad enough. Like you're drowning and you need air. That's how bad you want it. Beware at all times, because drugs and alcohol and other mind altering things cloud your judgment. And then we have to concentrate on our bodies. We have to have a good, healthy, sound body. We want to eat right. We want to meditate on the universe. We want to make sure that we are putting things in our body that makes our mind strong. Not just our body, but our mind strong. Knowledge of self, nature, the world, history. Make traditions and cover your vulnerability. You know what they say, oh, your legs so pretty. Oh, you have such beautiful, firm breasts. Oh, yes. Making you just blush. Cover your vulnerability. Okay? Because they won't be able to say that. And it won't give you the feeling that, oh, he said my breasts were pretty. Oh, I have to talk to him. Now, I want to make sure that everybody understand, of course, we go swimming or other activities that cause us to show our vulnerability. But we can handle that. That's a personal thing. Some choose not to indulge in these activities in the public until they're mature enough. Now, of course, the girls, they do that, of course. They're not mature, and they have their moms and dads to protect them. But we're talking about maintaining a healthy, safe environment, our bodies. We want to keep us healthy and safe. Now, when it comes to copulation, we want to make sure we're clean. The moon is high. And voila, conception may occur. And when that does happen, you want to let your thoughts be joyful. And you have to beware of what you drink and eat for the whole duration of your incubation period. That means what you say. That means what you listen to and ingest in your body must be free of negativity and synthetic. So we want to try to eat things that are or naturally that's not full of a lot of chemicals, because the chemicals have a reaction on you, so it's going to have a profound reaction on your baby. And all mind-altering drugs, unless you have to. Now, I know some people have to take medicine. They can't help it. It's because if they don't, it could cause them great harm. So we don't want to do that. We want to do everything possible to stay healthy. Now, motherhood is upon you, okay? Your incubation period is over. You have ushered that new life into this wonderful world that we live in. And now you are a mother. You have done all the things to enrich your lifestyle and your baby. So now it's time to continue that. Now you have to know that that person, that young person, needs to be loved. And you realize that the first year is preparing you and your little person for a path that is full of success and hopefulness. Now, you begin with proper nutrition, care, love, education, and make sure both of you are having enough love, care, and education. Now, the second year and beyond, you are preparing for growth, thus separation. Because what you're going through, this young, precious one shall go down that path. Go down that lane and let it be the righteous lane. Or at least a lane that has direction and discipline. Your goals are being realized. Now time is coming for adjustment. As we get older and go through life, we go through a period of adjustment. It's when it's time to take that car in to get the alignment done, and so everything would move smoothly and stuff. We have adjustments too. And one of the things is our sexual agility and vigor decreases. You begin to deactivate. And once you are ready to be put out to pasture, which is not a very bad thing, and the older you get, you soon retire, you wait on your pension, and then your transition, which comes when it comes. These are things that we can't help, and these are things that we have to be mindful of. That's why we want to make sure that we do things right the first time. Because who wants to live their life regretting half of their life? The goal is to live a long, luxurious, and have a healthy sexual appetite. And remember, knowing is not doing. So ladies, we want to be able to do that, and we want our young little people that are going to grow up to be responsible adults to do that. Now, maturity is the winners in war in any corporation. Now, what I mean by that is when you're in a relationship, both must stay individuals, have individual goals, be as one spirit though, such as having common goals, common characteristic traits, having respect for one another, and shared love-making submissiveness. And appreciating oneself, put oneself first, but you let it be honest and not in a selfish way. And you construct things together. It's always nice to be able to build something with your mate. And you have loving memories. You share their memories, bad or good. And you say what you mean and mean what you say. You are a corporation with a binding contract. You both acquisite and reason that they contract, and you should have in that contract things that can cause that contract to dissipate or be revised. Now, I don't believe in marriage. To me, it's a man-made institution that really controls you and make you owner of each other, which creates stress, dysfunctions, and disrupt the spiritual cycle. That's what it means to me. Now, even though we all know nothing is without flawless, Nothing is without flaws and tragedy. But as long as we keep our thoughts and our prioritize our well-being and let nature and time be our guide, continually learning and leading and teaching, we all can become lifelong friends and have a meaningful relationship. And remember, knowing is not doing. So when you know something and you don't do it, it's vanity. It serves no purpose. So I want to just say thank you for listening. And as we have learned that it's wonderful when you know how to do it right the first time. And that's what us women going to have to get back to. It's time for a new movement. And that new movement is getting back to our natural, loving state and being there for one another, respecting one another, and believing in ourselves. Well, thank you for listening, and may the power continue to be yours. Thank you. Good morning or good afternoon, whichever works best for you. Well, part 2 coming to you. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. But basically today we're going to be talking about men and their sexual health, safe sex. So, first of all, I want to make a small commentary just about the atmosphere that we're living in right now. It could be tolerated that the moans and groans which have been heard and the pain which has been felt by us beings. We beings are sicker than ever. Everyone is sick, suffering, or dismembered. You know that 35 million operations are performed each year just in America alone. And you know what? Before the Euro Gentile dominated man and beast and the creation has been suffering so much and so frequently. The axe to the trees, the gun to the birds, and the scalpel to man. Yes. The atmosphere that we are living is killing us. It's time for us to take back our lives and start living our lives accordingly to cycles, set times, and also seasons. And we're going to learn more and more about that as time goes on. Now, men, what is killing the erection? I mean, you can't go without hearing about dysfunctional erections, and we have all these remedies, Cialis and Viagra and many other devices that's supposed to help the male continue to have a good sexual experience. Well, let's see if we can find a few answers to that. Now, I mean, it's a wonder because all of us is suffering in our sexual organs. We have venereal diseases and diseases of the our vessel and our mind. And you have other viruses also that can affect us. And man's sexual mentality has become warped and diseased. You've noticed that men are becoming more fanatical and perverted in their sexual minds and desires. And that comes from the diseased mind, a diseased world. Improper sex habits, out of cycle. Now for man, a myth is men who have more sex in one day is wrong. He is multiplying copulation between moon rises is a vanity. It's vanity. It weakens the sperm count dramatically. Note, there is better firmness of an erection if a man's penis, when sperm is present in the testicles. So the more sperm you have in the testicles, the firmer your penis will be. And mentality is very important. What is on your mind? What is going on in your life? Stress, pressure to perform has a lot to do with the firmness of the penis. Now, you should be free of mind-altering drugs, guilt, and also, plus by maneuvering upon a woman and don't ejaculate, can re-erect the penis a number of times. For the highly quantity of sperm occupying his testicles is giving your erection, as they say, hard as a board. Now, after its ejaculation of this life-giving and pleasurable moment, the penis naturally softens. It's okay. Now we've learned, after that, we know what to do. We clean, we cuddle, pleasant conversation, and voila, you have experienced a healthy, pleasurable sexual experience. Now, a number of things can happen. You can also create another life, as in conception. And if conception occurs, then you have to stand up and be a mature father. Now, we've learned what mature is. We learned what a father is. You have to be healthy. You have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure that the home is full of love and positivity. Because you want that child from the moment of conception to be introduced unto a very pleasant and positive world. Your world is right here in this house. And his world is inside the mother's womb. And we want to make sure that womb is healthy and free of all that anxiety that goes on. For the duration of the pregnancy, that womb should be free of all kind of anxieties, if you can help it. I mean, we're talking about the real world here. So you have your children, and then you begin your lifelong path of fatherhood. And we're going to go in on more and more about that. But now, let's go fast forward. Of course, we get older. Now, elderly men, 80 years or more, who are having problems erecting their penis should seek building their sperm content and not get caught feeling sorry for themselves because of their age. Let your woman know it's not her while still loving your woman thoroughly. Kissing, hugging, all sex is a big part of containing and maintaining a relationship. Now, still, the reason could be physical. So you want to make sure you get checkup. You want to make sure your diet is good, because sometimes it may be a blockage of the replenishing passage to the testicles, or waste, or cholesterol buildup from improper eating habits, or a blockage of the mind clogged by fear, worry, anxiety, and wickedness. Of this world too. Now, the symptoms of ailments like pain while copulating or shortness of breath is very important. We need to make sure we keep that in check. So, with that, we could be successful in achieving a long sexual relationship. And remember, nature has given us the time, the cycle, the seasons. So we can be sexually active and safe without a hat on. So, we're going to have yearly checkups. We're going to check the moon phase along with sports page. We're going to clean our manly tool. Men will clean their manly tool, which is the penis, at least 3 to 4 times a day. Now you can do that with a wet washcloth or the towelettes that us women use sometimes to keep us clean during the day. And we're going to keep all well. We're going to have sexual intercourse after dark and be sexually loving anytime. And you're going to love your mate frequently, kissing and hugging and orally. And remember that being mature is the first step of having a very good sexual encounter. Thank you, and please look forward to part 3. We're going to talk about women, which may be a little bit longer, but see, women, we have a lot to talk about. Okay, thank you for listening. Please comment and please subscribe. Thank you.
Thinking about us, baby, how we did it. It's amazing we've come so far. When I think back to how we started, you just hit me like a hurricane. I'll never be the same. I'm still floating now. My feet, they barely touch the...
I'm going to talk about sex. Now, I've been talking a lot about safe, natural sex between two mature, ready for that Wonderful experience.
All part of
Now,
the older pre-war.
you want to be romantic.
Just a really huge spectrum.
You want to start off
They are the living
with
history
pleasant,
of that old music.
sensual
You know, they're becoming
conversation.
quite well known. And there's
Getting the juices flowing and getting the blood to that penis flowing. To get that erection, that hard as a brick erection. And you want, you women, us ladies, we want to be where we can't even sit still. Our body is taking over. Kissing, hugging, hands everywhere. I'm feeling your body. You're feeling mine.
You know, we kind of set it up.
And our tongues
in Memphis, which again is not LA,
are starting to
Nashville. It felt like we were in this
want to
beautiful little
taste a
cocoon.
little. Okay.
First thing I asked Gilly,
And you begin to undress me.
you want this to sound like
I begin
old
to
recordings,
undress
which,
you.
you know, tend to have that muffled kind of sound. That's
And we
basically
already
the
ready.
medium.
So what do we do?
He said, no, not at all. I want to catch is what you would have heard if you were in the room.
You're going to take a shower.
Those type of,
A nice, warm, hot shower. Lathering each other up. Kissing and hugging. If you don't want to take a shower, you wash each other's body to make sure it's nice and clean and warm and oily. It's nothing like being next to an old, hot body. And then what? You can't turn back. You are like a torpedo that's been released into the ocean. You have to hit this target. And that target is that splendid orgasm.
Any of these artists.
And that's what you do.
Alan sort of knew the chocolate drop. Sharon didn't know anybody.
I'm into
And
you,
we're just going down,
and you into me.
saying a little prayer, and hoping that it's all going to work out, you know?
Of course, when it's over, it's over. But it's not over until we
So many people are unaware of
clean
not
up,
only
take a shower, take a nice warm bath. And as we washing each other, we are also making sure one another is completely satisfied.
From the music to the look to all of that, so I think all of that can contribute to giving a better awareness of that particular plastic content.
Safe, healthy
This is
sex
a nugget
is the
of
best.
African American history that is so incredibly
And have
important, in
fun.
my opinion.
You
And
mature.
it's why it was
Love.
an honor to work with
Ready
Denzel
to have
and be able to go
the
along
gusto.
this incredible road with him.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I can't take too long, so I had to cut it off. But I was talking about farmers, how important it is for our black children to be able to get back to nature, to be able to be out with the domestic animals and also with farm animals, cows and sheep and horses and birds and not birds. Even go to the zoo more. We need to teach our kids more about this earth. Let them appreciate how beautiful it is. Give them a chance to know that this is yours. Take care of it. Now our children should be able to spend time on a farm, spend time at the zoo, have a relationship with the creation, the creatures on this earth. Now this is just something that I want to talk about a little bit about history. I have this wonderful history book. Now, imperialism and nationalism in Black Africa. Most of sub-Saharan Africa was political independence fairly rapid after the Second World War II. Only Portugal's old but relatively undeveloped African territories and white-dominated southern Africa remained beyond the reach of Africa nationalism by 1964. The rise of independent states in Black Africa, a major development in world history, resulted directly from both a reaction against Western imperialism and the growth of African nationalism. Imperial system, 1900 to 1930. After 1880, the great powers scrambled for territory and pushed into the interior using overwhelmingly military force to mow down or intimidate African opposition and establish firm rule. By 1900, most of Black Africa had been conquered, or as Europeans prefer to say, pacified, and a system of imperial administration was taking shape. Gradually but relentlessly, this imperial system transformed Africa. Generally, its effect was to weaken or shatter the traditional social order and challenge accepted values. Hello, I'm coming to you again with part 4. We've been talking a lot about different things, but basically we've been talking about safe, healthy sex. Well, I'm going to get off of that for a little while and talk about being mature. Because the emphasis is on being mature, being ready. Because having sex is a big commitment. Because you know what? Sex is not just getting that orgasm. It's a lot more involved. Feelings, consciousness, your health. Because sex can kill in more ways than one. And it's not just about morality. It's about the finale. What happens after you get your orgasm? I'm killing me with these words of mine sometimes, but we need to first get to that point when we're ready. Because we found out that being mature is being fully grown, ripe, able to make good, sound decisions with a fully grown mind. Now, we're going to take a test that you could see if you're mature. Now, it's a subject to every rule. Some mature earlier than some others. But we're concentrating on finding out when you're mature. Because I advise anybody to wait till they are mature before they go into any kind of contract, especially a sexual relationship. Because it's serious. Because when you have that sexual experience, you want it to be the best experience you could ever have. And you want it to continue to be the best experience you could ever have. It is a gift to experience such tremendous ecstasy. Your whole body, your whole world is involved in that moment. But okay, we're going to get into history and education. You need it, and they both must be together. Now, this is one thing I don't see in school. When they give you something, they don't give you the history behind it. History needs to be taught all before you enter into a school system, a school establishment. Okay. Now, why is it important to be taught early? Well, we are our parents' children, and they are children of their parents, and so forth. Now, it should be treasured forever, our history. It holds the key to the past and hope for the future. It's like a step ladder. It helps you reach new heights, and it elevates your mind. Before the coming of the European, Africans had culture, they had traditions for superior to that of white slave masters. Remember what I said. Before the coming of the Europeans, Africans had cultural traditions far superior than that of their white slave masters. Their children began their educational process at age 3. And by the time they had complete what would be termed elementary school today, they had that already. They had intelligence. They had level beyond the highest degree attainable in today's institution of learning. We had 8-year-olds as kings. Now, to me, I believe that can't be true, but being mature is being ready to make sound decisions, develop a mind ready to take on important issues that are important for all affected. And that's what a king does. But see, that's what I'm saying. We have lost that attainable intelligence through this invasion of this Europeans on us. And we need to get back to that. That's why I am submitting a new school system so we can start early and get the proper education. Now, despite having this transformation where we had to go from being kings and queens to being slaves, this was forced upon us, and being as intelligent and having so much intelligence, it really made us kind of mental defect, because we wasn't able to express ourselves or be as creative as we once were. Now, and even now, being some middle class or even wealthy, today we as a whole we are continually being treated as second-class citizens, despite living in America for over 400 years. Yes. Now, also with that, our diet has changed. Our relationship with nature, our traditions, our culture, and we are forced to live among ones who don't share or is ignorant of our history. Now, so you have to remember that all Africans were not from the same tribe. All Africans had different traditions and different history, different makeup, and we was forced together. And a lot of times we was forced to copulate and thus bring in children with different backgrounds. So it's all about getting back to our original ways. And I'm not saying going back doing the drums and the fair feet or whatever, because we don't know that. We have no clue what tribe we came from. But what I'm saying is getting back to the intelligence that we once had as a people. Now we need to get back to healthy eating. We need more veggies, fruit. We need to stay away from all the fast food restaurants. I'm not saying not to go to them at all, but every day, that's too much. Now there's 11 principles of food and health with great benefits. Now we're going to talk about one principle at a time. Now the great benefits of eating right is living longer, avoiding certain diseases like diabetes, heart disease, lowering your blood pressure, and avoiding Alzheimer's disease and more. Now, one is nutrition. Looking at food as a nutrient, as something to fuel your body, to keep you running, to keep your motor going. You know, just like you have to gas up at the gas station, you have to also gas up your body with the proper nutritions to keep you going. Now, nutrition represents the combined activities of countless food substances. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Example, you prepare sauteed spinach with ginger and whole grain ravioli shells stuffed with butternut squash and spices, topped with walnut tomato sauce. Voila! You have introduced a bundle of nutrients into your body. As soon as food hits your saliva in your mouth, your body begins working its magic, and the process of digestion starts. Now, each of the food has chemicals, and them chemicals interact with what the other food chemicals have and your body chemicals in a very specific way. And the chemicals we get from the foods, we are engaged in a series of reactions that work in concert to produce good health and intricate controls within our cells and are through our body. See, we have to look at what's going on in our body. We do that through education, okay? Because that's what I'm saying. Education in history is very important. Now, culture change is not easy. Changing your diet is not easy. And our lifestyle changes, it's not easy. But it's necessary. Now, if most black people were financially secure, educated, lived in clean neighborhoods, had good jobs, controlled their communities, and felt protected, both physically and mentally, there would still be problems. We can't avoid problems. Because remember, we're living in a dysfunctional world. And things happen. But we still have to address issues that are here during the seasoning of black people that underwent the long periods of enslavement. You can't get away from it. I know I hear about people all the time trying to say that is not the fact, that is not the reason. Yes, it is. You do not go all them years being enslaved, being neglected, and don't think it's not going to affect you, your child, their child, their child. It affects the whole world because you still see people still acting like nothing's changed. Still trying to keep the black man down. I have read some comments where they want every black person dead. I mean, for anybody to say that, even though they know that it's never going to happen, it just shows how mental people are. Now, it has left a negative and physical and mental scars on us. Because like I said from the beginning, we are our parents' children, and they are the children of their parents, so forth and so forth. Now here is 11 suggestions that we're going to do one at a time on how we can help this change come about. 11 steps at a time. Now, accurate definitions are needed. We need to teach our kids and ourselves exactly what being a father and a mother really means. Not is, but means. What it really means to be black, man, woman, or child in this country, in this world. And understanding the rites passage from young to adulthood, such as birth, naming, birthdays, formal schooling, graduating, age groupings, sexual activity, high school education, and military and or college, marriage, which I called a corporation, and other culture forces, helps stabilizing and giving direction to them. They should know what all this means. When you give your child a birthday party, do you explain to that child what that means? What is expected of them at this age? I don't care if they're 2 years old. They should be sat down, talked to, and tell them, get the book out. Tell them what happens when a 2-year-old does. What's ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's talk about farmers. Most of us have never been on a farm, have never worked a farm, and we are missing out on so much. Now, being a farmer, you are close to nature. You are being productive. You're used to seeing food ripe and mature, which also helps you to develop patience in oneself. Your interest is expanded. You have a positive relationship with creatures of the land. The soil is enriched by you. You see how seasons change our earth. Now, how many of our black children grow up with horses and sheep and goats and et cetera, that's on a farm? How many black children really go out there and reap what they sow? As in gardens, vegetable gardens, flower gardens. Eating something that they grew. Picking it when it's ripe and then eat it. Our children should and could
safe sex is great sex. Healthy sex
have close
is great sex.
to nature. Should be close to
Having
nature.
sex with the person that you are with, you want it to be long lasting happiness. And we should make sure that the person that we are having that happiness with enjoys it too. Now, we know there's all kind of sex, good sex, bad sex. We don't want the bad sex. We need to outlaw bad sex. I'm talking about the sex that would get you locked up. Okay? Good sex is what we want. Thank you.